Okay, so last time we finished the adapter and the fragment, okay, but we haven't really placed it in the activity yet, okay. And today we'll do the navigation, okay. So I guess first you need to add a navigation graph. Let me have the captions. Show captions. Okay. Although this caption won't be correct, but at least I guess it's better than nothing. Okay, so first add a nav resource. Just right click everywhere, anywhere, say new, and a results file. Okay, so the file name doesn't matter. Okay, it's just the type. Okay, the type, please choose navigation as a type. Okay, and just say okay. And yeah, I'll get. I may need to stop sharing the screen, otherwise it will take forever. Oh, actually, just see that. Okay, so you should see this window popping up. Just say okay. It just asking you to add the dependency. Okay, otherwise you need to add it manually. Okay, so let me stop share just to speed up the process. So you can just create a new resource file, and remember to choose navigation as the type. The name of the file doesn't really matter. And also you will see a pop-up window to ask you to add the dependency. Just say okay in this case, okay, and just wait for it to because it's also need to sync your project, and I guess also download different files. Okay, finally, so finally I can share my screen again. Okay, so after everything done, you should be able to see the screen. That's the navigation, I guess, the navigation editor. Okay, so this is similar as your layout. When you click the layout, it's giving you the layout editor, right? So when you click any navigation resource file, it's giving you a navigation editor. Okay, and also let's see the dependency, right? So you should see new dependencies being added. Okay, so if you missed that, okay, you need to add it manually. Okay, so actually, let's see. So let me post in chart in case you need it. Oops, sorry, I'm doing. In case you need it. Okay, and let's see the navigation. So first you need to add destination, and the destination basically means that different pages or different screens. Okay, so I think we need to add our item list. Right, the list. That's one thing, and this is our home. Because that's our home page. That should be the starting page. Okay, and we also need to add our information fragment. Okay, and there's another screen that we didn't create yet. So you can either just create it here, or you can just say add a new destination and say create new destination. Okay, and have a blank fragment. Okay, so again, so from this add, you can either select a already created one, or you can always add a new here. Okay, so let's add a new here, and a blank fragment. Let's call it the detail fragment because that's our page. Okay, just finish that. Good. Let's So we have 3 pages, right? It will go to the detail page. Okay. Therefore, the detail is from the list fragment to detail fragment. Right. Okay. And as you can see, you can define the animations, etc. Okay. And then also have the ID. Okay. And for the info fragment, it's based on the menu, right? User can click the menu to go to the info fragment, and it's not from any specific page, right? Therefore, this is a global action. Okay, so I guess just add a action, and it's not from a fragment; it's 2 fragments. So let's see, add action to destination. Destination fragment. No, that's not what I want. Okay, so just without selecting any screen, okay, so nothing should be selected. Then you choose the add action. And the destination is the info fragment. Okay, so it's a global action. It means that it can go anywhere from the from can be anywhere. The to is the info fragment. Okay, so you can already define the animations etc. here, but let's just add it just same thing for all other things. Okay, again, what I did is that unselect anything, and you just say add action. Okay, and you just need to define the destination. Okay. So again, our navigation is that from the list, right? From the list, we can when you use the click on each item, it will be directed to the detail page. Okay, therefore, it's from the fragment to the detail fragment. Okay, and then this info fragment, because it's you are going to here by the menu, which is throughout the whole app. Right? Therefore, it's a global action. Okay, so to add a global action, just do not select anything, just say add action. Okay, so that's our graph. Okay, and let's see what else we can do. And from the item fragment to the detail fragment, we are passing the data, right? So what's displaying on the detail fragment is based on which row is being clicked. Okay, so we need to send data. Okay, and to set data, you need to set the data type in the fragment that's receiving it. It's again, you should mention it in the receiver's fragment, not in the sender's fragment. So in this case, our receiver fragment is the detail page. Okay, so just select the detail page, and then on the right, you can have the different attributes, right? So here the argument, and you can add a argument. Okay. So the requirement asks you to put the whole object as the argument, right? And this will be an exercise for you to figure out how you can do it. Okay. So in our class demo, we will just do the name. Okay. So I guess do the name of each row or the title of each row. Okay. So give it a name, just call it a title. So this is the name of the key. Okay. So the type, let's just say a string. Okay, and the default value, I guess we can just say just default. Okay, just add it. So again, here, in your mini project 3, you should adding a object, not adding a string. Okay, you need to figure out how you can add a object. Okay, but the procedure is the same, right? Just add a argument, and it should be added to the receiver. You add to the receiver. And set a name, and the name is the key. Okay, and set the type of the type, right? Set the type. Okay. So I guess that's it for the navigation graph. Okay, so that's the graph, and let's see the code of the graph. Okay, so the code is, remember, that's a resource file, right? So it's in XML. Okay, and it has different fragments. Okay, you have the fragments, the label, and have the action. Okay, and no, you can change the ID to shorter ones, so that's easier for you to type. But you can also have the default ones. Okay, you have the fragment, and as you can see on the receiver fragment, the detail fragment, it has the argument. Okay, so if you want, you can also just hard code them instead of using the design mode. But I think using the design mode is easier. But it's up to you. Okay. So any question about this navigation graph? Or do you need more time before we go to the next step? Okay, and you can always refer to exercise 3, right? Exercise 3 for the whole procedure if you want, if you need. Okay. And so the next thing is that we probably want to add it to the main activity. Okay, so far our activity has a text field, so let's remove that. We don't need a text field, but instead we want I think it's the fragment container or something. So let me see the design mode because I believe it's easier. Nav host fragment. Okay, so in the design mode, just search for nav and place a nav host fragment in. Okay, and in the pop-up menu, just select the nav graph that we just set. To say okay. All right. So now if you run the program, you should be able to see the list. Okay, and you know what? I think I'm not positive, but I think you probably can just, instead of using a content layout, you can just use the fragment content view as the maybe you can do that, but I'm not positive. And actually, let me just try. Here. Yeah, so same as we can do it. Okay, so what I was doing is that I just removed the outside container because we only have one list. Okay. Let me try. Let me just try to do this slowly to redo it. Okay. So I guess that's the outer part. Okay. So what I did is just copy and paste everything here. So starting from this part to the last part, right? Just copy that or cut that and put it into here, right? And remove those redundant things. This is not necessary, and also remove the outer layer. Okay, and just format it. Okay. Okay. So basically, once you add it, you should be able to see it. You should be able to see the list when you open the app. When you run the app, you should be able to see the list. Okay. And let's see what else. And then we need to implement in the Java code, right? Okay. So as a review, first you need to have the navigation component, the navigation graph, right, which is the source, and then just put the navigation graph into a nav host container. Or nav host fragment, right? To do so, just in the design mode, search for a nav and choose nav host fragment. Okay, so the resulting code for the layout for the main activity, it will be looking like this. Okay. So any questions before we move to the next step? If not, then let's continue to implement it. So let's move to our item fragment. Okay, and actually also the detail. So let me just quickly make the details. I'm just using this text view, okay, just for a demonstration purpose. Let's have just a title. Okay. So again, in your detail page, you should have. Let me open the requirement. So I believe you need to have a title and have the image and have a long text and have another text view. Okay, you have the image, you have the title, and have the description. Okay, so just for demonstration purpose, I will just do the text view for the title. Okay. So our detail fragment, let's see what we need to do. Rename the fragment, search match. I think we can move all these. At least move one of them. String one. Actually, I think I could remove all this. I don't think we need all these things. And we don't need the new instance. And we don't need this. But let's just keep one of them. Oh, then I guess in this case, we also need to have the let's just call title, so it's easier to understand what we're doing. String title key. Actually, I think you don't even need to have the title key. You just hard code it, and we just call title. So this key here is what we define in the navigation graph. Okay, so remember in our navigation graph, we have a title, we have a name for the argument, right? So the name is title. Okay. Again, this key is defined here. You just make sure that it's the same as what you defined here. And let's see what else. The same. The detail fragment. Okay, right. Now basically we're trying to get on create. We're trying to get the data that's passed in. Okay, and I guess for this one, just the view, we are equal to the thing, and return view to want to do. Okay, so I guess when you do is that binding. Actually, because we're using binding, so I guess what we should do is to have a binding object. I think it's detail fragment binding. It's fragment detail binding. Fragment detail binding. I don't. Oh, I remember that. Set inflate. Yeah. And get layout inflator. Yeah. That's what I want to do. And in this case, we're returning binding.view. So get root. So doing this, just as know what you're doing for the activity binding. Right, so you're just inflating using the layout inflator and a binding object, and return binding.getRoot, right, because it asks you to return a view. Okay, and just say binding.set binding.title.set text, and that's title. Okay, so what we did here is that, so first on create, we're getting the argument that's passed in using this get arguments method. Okay, and the title, the key here, is what we set in the navigation resource file. Navigation resource file here. Okay, and and in the onCreate view, okay, what we're trying to do is to set the title text to title. Okay, so of course, in your mini project 3, you need to do the title, do the image, and do the description. You need to do all 3 of them. But as a demonstration, we'll just give you the title. Okay, and then we can implement the navigation. So the implementation of the navigation is like the from, in the from fragment, okay, which is the atom fragment in your case. Okay, so I guess we don't need to have any argument here. Okay, and so let's just have a method to do the job. Public, I guess void. Just call it onClick. Okay. So I'm not to create it one, and it will be based on the position. Okay. So I guess our item, I think we have the final, not final, valid string. Title equal to position dot, not position, sorry, the data dot position dot get position dot get the name, or just call it name, so it's just being consistent. Okay, right. So the name will be based on that, and I think in a bundle object, equal to new bundle, and bundle dot I think it's put string. So the key is title, and our data is name. Okay, and I guess we need to have a nav controller. So the nav controller, just the controller equal to, I think it's like get nav controller. I don't remember, but let's just see the nodes. See navigation. Okay, so that's the thing. But because we're in a fragment, so we can use just passing this. Okay, and just controller dot navigate. Okay, and our RD is that navigation dot. I think it's ID. ID dot. So here is to get the action item fragment to data fragment, right? And passing the bundle object. Okay. So in this method, what we're trying to do is that to get the data from the current position that's been clicked, and again, just as a demo, we're just passing the name. Okay, to get the name, and have a bundle object to put in the data. Right. Again, the key here is what you set in the navigation graph. Okay, and have a nav controller to navigate. Right. So our action is from the item fragment to the detail fragment. Okay, and then passing the data as well. Okay, so what you need to do is that you need to figure out how you can pass this method into the adapter. Okay, and in your main adapter, you should have a I guess here. Sorry. The set on-click listener here. So basically what you need to do is that you need to set a on-click listener on the whole view holder. Okay, so just as a demo, let's just set to the name. Set click listener. Right. And you need to be able to pass in the method we implemented in the item fragment. Okay, so you should know how to do it because we did the same or almost the same thing in a mini project 1, right? How you can pass in method. So we should know how to do it, I hope. Okay, so that's what you need to do. See, let me have it come out. Do as in the tick method from the item fragment class. Okay, so that's what you need to figure out. Okay, so I think we still have a dialog thing being implemented, so let's do it. Okay, so it's probably also being here. Because it's also be based on the position you're being clicked. Okay, so let's see, public void show dialog. And let me just be a little bit lazy just to copy and paste dialog fragment. So I think that's what you need. So it's in the fragments. So I guess need to be get context. Yeah. Okay. And I guess we can have under method go detail. Okay. So the go detail, that's the go detail. Right. Go detail. And on click, it will be based on whether the position, right? So if the position equal to, I guess it's data dot size -1, right? Given that our index is coming from 0. If it's the last one, we are showing the dialog, right? Else we go to the detail. Okay, so this also needs the position. And it will be, when user select this, you'll go to the detail page. Okay, and you probably want to set the warning etc. here. Okay, see, to do that for warnings. Okay, so if yes, if it's no, oops. So we don't have a neutral button. It's either nothing. Okay, so this is the dialog, right? So if the user says yes, then we go to the detail page. Okay, if the user says no, then we just do nothing. Okay, so what you need to do here is just set a meaningful warning message instead of just saying warning. Okay, so I think I guess also it's here is that do send the whole object or item object instead of sending each part. Okay. And I guess that's it for the navigation part. Not exactly yet because we haven't implemented the navigation to the information page yet. Okay, so let's do it. Okay. So first we have a nav controller. So let's see what's the code for the nav controller. Okay, so let's see. Let me just copy and paste. Okay, okay, so just one second. Let me import those classes. Which one?
Show dialog.
Show dialog. Okay, just 1 second. It's the IO fragment. Here.
Okay.
Professor, can I quickly see the to-do message at the top of this?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. So this ID will be based on ID here. So I guess we also need to set an ID. We have ID. So let's have a shorter ID. The arguments. It's easier. Okay. Let's see the nav controller. What's that? Okay, so have a assert. Okay, so that's how you can get the nav controller from a activity. Okay, so basically you're finding the fragment by ID, and this ID is what you set in the activity main. Okay, and then once you have the nav controller, it's just called controller, so it can be shorter. Controller. just the same thing, just navigate. Navigate, and we are having the global action to the information page. Okay, so at least we can test this part. Okay, so we cannot test each row click yet, but at least we can test whether we can going from the activity to, say, going from the main activity or going from anywhere on the page. Okay, so let's run the app. So I hope it works. Here, so it can be faster. Still installing the app for some reason. Finally, let's see. Okay.
The fragment ID that you mentioned,
yes.
Inside find fragment by ID, which fragment does it refer to?
Which one?
Inside main activity, line 33.
Main activity, that's the ID. So the main activity only have one thing, right? And that's the ID of the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to call it fragment, but just call it anything that you can remember. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so far we only have 2 rows because we only have 2 rows, right? And also based on what we said, right? Now we said here that our first item is have the background, the second item has the foreground, and the first one is called name 1, and the second one called name 2, right? So which is exactly the same as what we here. So when you click here, nothing will be happen because you haven't done anything, right? So nothing will be happen. And then if we go to information, okay, so it works. So again, from here we can also do the information, and then uninstall, of course, will work. Right, okay. At least this part is okay. And I just something just come across my mind, but I forgot. I think there's something else I can do. Oh, so this is the back button, right? So this is the the thing on the bottom. That's the navigation bar, right? And this is the back button. Okay. So as you can see, once we let me open that 3. Right. So that's our launch page, right? So if on the launch page we click the back button, it will just simply close the app. Okay. Okay. So let's see what else I can do. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so I finally I remembered like what I need to do. Here. Let's see the adapter. Okay, it should be I guess the binding dot get root. Then you can set the onClick listener. So let me double check. Yeah. And what you need to do is just try to pass in the method. Okay, and I hope you can do it. And let's see what else. And I guess that's it. That's it for what you can do. So let me just recap the to-do you can do. The to-do is that you need to first figure out that how to pass in the onClick method. And I guess a hint is that you need to change this method. And change the argument, the parameter. Add a parameter in ViewHolders constructor. Okay. So basically, you need to have something else to be sent here in this constructor, and therefore you also need to, I guess, the opposite should be you need to add a parameter and change the. That makes more sense, right? Because in your onCreate view folder, you're having the view holder, the fragment. That's the fragment. Okay, so let me just write it out so you can understand the fragment and understand the So I guess it's fragment or binding. And the binding. How about this? Yeah, here you go. All right. So the method is actually doing this, right? So first you have a binding object being inflated or being initialized, right? And then when the returning is just return a new view holder object, right? And the binding is the parameter or the argument that's passed in, because your view holder, the constructor only takes the binding object. Okay. So what I'm saying is that you probably need to change. So first you need to add a new parameter that's passed in so that you can pass in the onClick method. Okay. And because of this, you also need to change the information here, because you're not only passing in the binding object, you're also passing in another object. Okay. So that's what you need to do in the adapter. And you probably also need to add another. Let me just put everything here. And you need to add another attribute. Just variable or class variable for my adapter. Okay. So anyways, you can also, if you don't know what to do, my suggestion is that you can just search for how you can have a the row click or the on-row click listener for adapters. That's one thing you can search for. You should be able to search for find a tutorial for that, and which is basically doing the same thing. Or you can refer to our mini project 1, because in mini project 1 we are doing something similar. In other words, this is about how you can pass a method as a parameter. Okay. The method as parameter. Okay, because that's what you need to do. And then in order to do it, you need to have another parameter for that, etc. Okay, I hope this is already good, enough hint for you to implement it. And what else? And I think also you need to figure out how to pass in an object instead of passing each part. That's a to do in your item fragment. I need the whole item object. And what else? And also, this is easier. This is something easy. And what else? I guess that's it. That's it. Okay. So the rest of class, just as always, if you have any questions, just unmute and speak.
Professor, can you go to main activity.java?
Okay.
Okay.
Would it be possible to see the value of r.id.fragment?
Oh, the thing? That's in the activity min.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's ID here, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Any other thing?
Yeah, also item fragment.java. Just at the start, we had some variables, right? Do we not need that anymore?
Which part?
At the start of the item fragment.java.
So at the beginning.
We had some.
You don't need it. No.
Okay.
Click and go detail. I guess, and let me move this thing. Button. Yeah. How to connect fragment using actions? Oh, sure. So all these actions, you're defining them using the navigation graph. Okay, so the navigation graph, the same as the layout editor, you have the code mode, you have the split, you have the design. Right? So actually, I think it's just easier to go design mode. Okay, so in the design mode, if you want to add a action, so for example, if it's from here to here, then you simply just click the the starting fragment and then drag the thing to the target. Okay, so that's how you can add a sorry, let me remove this. That's how you can add a action or a navigation from this fragment to this fragment. Right, so again, it's just select the starting fragment and drag the start to the target fragment, and you're having an action. Okay, and everything else will be generated for you. Okay, nice.
Hey, Professor.
Yes.
So I didn't understand this part inside this navigation thing. So you're defining an action, the global action to go to info fragment, right?
Yes.
So what does that do?
So that from anywhere you can go to the info fragment. It's not from a specific starting fragment. Right, so see the difference between these two? For this action, it's always from the item fragment to the detail fragment. Right, so which means you can only go to detail fragment from the item fragment. You won't be able to go in from somewhere else. Okay, but for the info fragment, you can go in from the item fragment. You can go in from the detail fragment. Right, so it's a global action. You can go from anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Then because it's how you can get here is based on the menu, right? And this menu is on the options menu, which is throughout the whole app, right? It's on somewhere here, right? So, like whatever screen you're on, you always have the option to go to the information page.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's a global action.
Got it.
Could you go back to the top of item fragment? I think I'm missing a couple of things.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Down a little bit. Okay, thank you.
At the show dialogue method, we are showing the dialogue only when we are clicking the last item, right?
Yes, yes. That's
What
the
does it
requirement.
signify?
Sorry?
What does it signify? What messages do we have to show?
You can check the requirements. It's on the requirements. Right, so basically you are just having a warning. I think it's based on what you are trying to do, like what kind of list you have, right? Just be creative. No, this part is not that important. Just for fun, yeah.